Welcome to your mat. I'm really grateful to be here. My name is Maria Macsay, and I'm coming to you from just outside Manchester in the UK, visiting Echo, and taking some time to meet you on the mat for an Embody Your Yin practice, which will be geared towards working with the internal energies, forward folds, and being in a state of inner connection and reflection. So for the physical body, that's going to address the back line. So if there's tension in the hamstring line or the spine or even around the back of the neck, sometimes it manifests with tension in the forehead. This will be a really generous practice for that line. I'm working with the propping that I have. So I have 2 blocks, though you may not need them. So we get to get creative here. If you have a couple blocks, you can bring those. You can pull pillows off of the couch or grab some decorative pillows and bring them with you. And then this big cardigan I'm using as a blanket. So anything that you feel might support you. Yin is a much more supported practice and much more about relaxing into an edge than it is efforting like we might do in a more active practice like vinyasa or hatha. So to begin, I'll invite you into a comfortable seat, whatever that may be, and we'll take a moment to connect with what's here now so that we know where we're starting from. So in whatever way you like to do that, you can either soften your gaze all the way down or simply look at something out in front of you on the ground with a soft gaze. And when you arrive, feel free to take a deep breath in and a full breath out. And if that felt good, we'll do it 2 more times together. Breathe in. Maybe even sigh out on this exhale. Once more. Allow the breath to return to its natural cadence. And from here, begin to pay attention to what you notice in your body. What is alive in your body? Recognizing places of tension, of discomfort, of holding, and also of openness, of fluidity, of grounding. And get to know where you are in this moment. As you tune into sensations in your body, become aware of your emotional world. What's occurring there? Now noticing any mental fixations or thoughts. And if you're having any thoughts about something in the future, something you might need to get to, could you imagine taking that and putting it to the side of your mat, knowing that you can pick it up as soon as this practice is complete? In this moment, if it feels right for you, you can set an intention for your practice. Breathing a big breath into that intention or into the space if you're just being with space. And as you exhale, slowly flutter your eyes open. And we'll go ahead and come into the first postures. So coming off the block, if you're sitting on one, we'll go ahead and start with what can feel like a pretty generous forward fold. And I'll face away from the sun so I can see you a little bit better. Legs will stretch out in front of you. And if there's already quite a bit of tension with the tailbone pulling under, you could always sit slightly up on a pillow just to kind of lift the sitting bones onto the mat. And if there's a big space underneath the knees, you might slip a little blanket underneath there. This can feel good, even if there's not a ton of tension in the back line. From the support that you've set up for yourself, go ahead and send a deep breath in to lengthen the spine all the way up through the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, fold forward any amount. So some of you might just be here, and that might really start to bring up some sensation in the posterior chain. And some of you may be able to go a little further. What I ask for you not to do is to yank on your body or pull on your body. This is really meant to be passive. And you'll likely find that in the posture, gravity will start to support you. So the body will begin to open, and you may notice that you can go a little closer to the earth. So for now, start in a place where you notice a bit of a stretch, but nothing too intense. And then when you get there, decide to be here, resolve to be here. If pain comes up, of course, shift. But for now, let's anchor into this shape and drop in. This posture here works with the fascial line all the way from the feet through the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes, the back, the neck, all the way into the front of your face. And this can be a line that holds a lot of alertness, an energy of alertness. And so as we move into this yin practice, inviting big breaths in and out to allow that posterior chain to know that it is in a safe space to begin to unwind, to begin to relax. See if there's room to relax around your shoulders, your neck, and your ears at all. Allow your breath to be an anchor of presence, so the full breath in and the full breath out not only supports your physical body in landing and opening, but also does the same for your mind. As we move into this season of winter, we turn in towards the darkness, shorter days, into the energy of the moon. This yin time of year is very much about rest, inward energy, nourishing spaces, self-reflection. By now you might notice that your body's opening up, and you may be able to just gently soften down towards the earth even just a little bit more. Notice where you feel pulling in your body. That can be places of holding, sometimes called adhesions in the fascial network. And see what you can do with the power of your awareness on that area and directed breath. Doing your best to relax any areas of the body that no longer need to be active. See what's open for you to soften into. We'll complete one more breath here. And as you make your way up, I encourage you to use your hands to line your spine back up so that you're not using much effort. And when you get up to a long spine, just pause and notice the effects of that posture. The moments in between the major events in our life. have so much to offer us. They are spaces where we can cultivate presence, cultivate awareness, and often the moments where we miss so much tenderness and beauty. I'm practicing now that space in between the poses, in between the events, being here. Now we'll shift into the next posture. Still in this forward fold energy, bringing the soles of the feet to the mat and then opening the knees here. So I'll go ahead and face you. Feet together, knees can be open, and same principles apply. If the tailbone felt really good with a little bit of a support and lift, please maintain that. And then here, you can either just allow the knees to fall open to their extent and be good with that. If you're noticing some kind of tension in the hip flexors, you might enjoy bringing some blocks underneath the shins or the knees just to offer a support for those outer legs to come into, which can really help the opening and the relaxation. So whatever you choose for yourself, same principle here. You can hold on to the outer knee or the shin and then inhale, lift up. As you exhale, fold forward any amount. Couple offerings here. You can simply surrender into the shape of the forward fold, or if you have propping, you might take like a block or 2 blocks to the ground and rest your forehead on that. Really nice to allow the head to be caught by something and supported. If you're not working with blocks and you're close to that shape, you might just put your elbows into the inner arch of your foot, which serves as a little extra massage, and catch your head. And taking any adjustments that you might need. When you feel ready to settle in, breathe a full breath into your whole body. And exhale, let it go. Arrive. So we begin to open up now to the inner seam of the legs, the adductors, inner thighs, which can hold quite a bit of tension and energy for us. And so there's both a level of surrender here as we fold forward. Simultaneously, this energy of opening, which can sometimes feel a little intense or vulnerable depending on the day or the state of your body or any kind of experiences you're having inside of yourself. So be kind to yourself, whatever that may mean. Maybe that's really generous, full breaths. Maybe it's backing out of the intensity just a little bit, working with the energetics instead of sensation. Maybe the kindest thing to do is actually give yourself permission to do this with full presence, to bring your mind back into the fullness of the experience. These forward folds create an opportunity to explore breathing into the back side of the lungs. It's easy to forget that the lungs still occupy space for us to breathe into there. So here you could practice, what is it like to breathe into the back side of my lungs, even the sides of the ribs? Gently exploring that. So for me in a yin practice, sometimes my mouth salivates a little bit more, often a sign that you're releasing tension. Or you might get the impulse to flutter your lips or sigh or make sounds. Sometimes these very simple postures can bring up an inner sensation of fire, of something that wants to move. And a really beautiful way to do that is through breath, through sighing, through sound, through fluttering the lips. Together, we'll take 3 more full breaths in our own time here. Beautiful. And same thing as last time. When you're ready to come up, you can use your hands and arms predominantly. And then as a counter pose for this one, option to take hands to the outsides of your knees and hug them in, and then simply sit here in a moment to ground into this new space that you're in. Having made space in your body, what do you feel now? Ironically, we're in a season that's asking us to go inward, and so often the season draws upon our energy in big ways with obligations, expectations, plans, parties, engagements. And it really becomes an act of self-love and self-care to be clear around the kind of energy we're able to engage with on any given day, what our capacity is, what our needs are. And this practice is really beautiful for taking pause and asking ourselves those questions. What do I need today? What is going on inside of me? And what do I feel available for? And going into the next posture now, go ahead and come into a child's pose. So this one you can prop up as much or as little as you want. I recommend toes together, knees nice and wide and open. For some, if you've got some really nice couch pillows, you can actually stack them in between your thighs and just kind of lay forward on them. And maybe you have a block that catches your forehead or a stack of books. That could be really nice. So I'm actually going to eventually stay there, but you could also simply come down into a full child's pose. And then depending on how your shoulders feel, either bringing your arms behind you or stacking your palms and creating a little pillow. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the option where I have some propping. You don't absolutely need it. And go ahead and get into the position that works for you. I'll say one final thing, that if there's a bit of stiffness in the front of your ankles, you could slip a little bit of padding underneath that through a soft blanket so that you're creating some kind of, how should I say, supportive force below the shin, okay? Great. So wherever you are, let's come into personal choice of child's pose. And as you arrive, as we do, big breath in and full breath out. Allow your hips to sink back towards your heels. I find this posture to be a beautiful one for reverence and humility, as we're very close to the earth. Coming back to the earth, back to foundation, back to the remembrance that we are part of this earth that we are on. This is our home. And simultaneously, perhaps gratitude can begin to unfold for you, or a simple reflection around how Mother Nature supplies so much for us. And allow this to be a really embodied experience where you're sensing just how much support is beneath you. And could you surrender into that support a little bit more? Is there any part of your body that feels like it's efforting to be here or lifting up and away from receiving that support, which is here for you, completely here for you? Notice if there's tension at your jaw and see what it's like to give a little bit of space between your teeth and to soften your tongue. And we'll breathe 3 final breaths in this posture. In your own time, as you feel ready, using your hands to press yourself up. And if you still feel good on your shins, you can pause here. Notice what it's like to come back up into the vertical plane. And go ahead and slowly shift around, moving any propping out of the way. And from here, coming into a position where you feel that you can really lay onto your back with comfort. And as you get there, go ahead and draw your knees in towards the sides of your waist, as if you want to go into happy baby. And maybe you even do. So for some, if this feels really good on your low back, I encourage you to think about sending your tailbone down as an extension of your spine. Sometimes the tailbone likes to curl up and we get the bum like off the mat, right? So let the glutes really be down on the mat. Wherever you need to have your knees and your hands for that, please do that. And if then it feels good to go into happy baby, you could open up your knees even wider, grab for the soles of your feet. Okay, and from there, allow yourself to let your chin be parallel to your chest. So this can be really big for the adductors, like the inner thighs that we've talked about, and also the insertions of the hamstrings. And also comes into the low back area, so those lower back muscles that can get pretty tight. See what it's like to breathe down into the low back, like down into that kidney area. There's a lot of energy that we ask of our kidneys to produce for us with the go, go, go mentality that we're in. So here's a way to massage and nurture this really powerful organ. Taking 3 more breaths here to complete this posture. Good. Let the knees come together if they've been apart. A little hug here. Maybe a little rock side to side, flushing out that posture. And then your own time, come into your final pose, Savasana. Maybe there's props and pillows underneath your knees to support the comfort of your low back. Or if you feel great here, just lift up your heart a tad, slide your shoulder blades down your back, let your palms face up by your side. If it feels good to have your hands on your body in any way, you can definitely do that. And then either just softening the eyes or closing them all the way down. And take a moment here to allow the previous postures to settle into your cells, into your body. Notice once again where the energy is pooling or moving. Remembering the support that's beneath you and seeing if there's space for you to drop down into that even just a little bit more. And with a deep awareness of the movement in your body, begin to move your fingers and your toes. Curling yourself in your own time to one side of your mat. And when you feel ready, using your hands to press yourself up to a seat. Coming into your seat, maybe it's the same as when you started or different. And when you arrive, taking note of the effects of this practice on your body. Notice what has changed, what's emerging. And if it resonates with you, you can slip your hands to heart center, palms pressed together in Anjali Mudra. And giving yourself a moment of self-honoring and gratitude for taking the time to be with yourself and care for your inner world and your physical body. Bowing down to the teacher that lives inside of us and in each other. Namaste. You might find that there is an impulse to journal after a practice like this or to go a little slower. I recommend giving yourself time to be with the effects of this practice, meaning maybe wait a good amount of hours until you do like a power weightlifting experience if that's your thing, or go on a run, just so you can really receive the benefits of this practice for your nervous system. I'm really grateful to be here with you, and I will see you again for another Yin practice. It was a pleasure to practice with you, and thank you for allowing me to guide you.